Now that you have one of these LoRa radio devices, the next thing you'll need to do to get started with MeshCore is flash the MeshCore firmware to your radio. If you're unfamiliar with what firmware is, it's basically the software we'll be installing onto the device here that runs the radios and handles the communications back and forth between your radio and your phone running the MeshCore app. Now, many of these radios come preloaded with the Meshtastic firmware, so we'll need to erase everything from the device and then flash the MeshCore firmware to it. Luckily, this process is very easy to do, and we're about to go through it step by step, so let's jump on the computer and get started. So here we are at the computer now, and the first thing we need to do is open up a Chromium-based web browser. These are web browsers like Google Chrome, Brave, or if you're on a newer version of Windows, you already have Microsoft Edge, which is also a Chromium-based web browser. Now, if you don't already have one of these installed on your computer, you'll have to download and install one for yourself. And I'll include links to some options in the video description below. For this video, I'll be using Microsoft Edge since it's one many of you watching probably already have. We'll need to navigate to the MeshCore Flasher webpage, which can be found at flasher.meshcore.co.uk. And I'll have a link to this in the video description below. Now that we're at the Flasher page, we can see a list of all the currently supported hardware for MeshCore. And as you can see, it's quite a long list of devices, so what I like to do is filter using the device name. So let's say we're flashing this Weo Tracker L1 Pro here. I would just put in L1 Pro and we can see the supported firmware options for it. Or maybe we're flashing something like the TDEC. Same deal, we just type in TDEC and here we can see the firmware options for that. Now there are some cases where you won't be able to find your specific device listed here, but that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't supported. If you have one of these WizMesh pockets I recommended in the previous video, for example, you'll see it doesn't show up when searching for it. But since this device has a rack 4631 inside it, we would use the rack WizBlock/WizMesh rack 4631 firmware option for this one. Another example would be the Meshnology N37. And if we search for that in the filter bar here, we can see that nothing shows up. That's because the N37 is based on the Weo Tracker L1 Pro, as we can see on the product page on their website. So to flash the N37, you would select the firmware for the Weo Tracker L1 Pro. Now there's other examples of this that we won't get into in this video, but just know that you may have to figure out what your device is running under the hood if you purchase one of these less common devices. Now, as we've been going through these, you may have noticed some different firmware options, like here for the Weo Tracker L1 Pro, we can see we have Ripple firmware and Community firmware. The Weo Tracker L1 Pro is unique compared to other similar style devices because it has a joystick. This allows for menu navigation that isn't possible on other types of units. Since the L1 Pro has this ability, there's the Ripple firmware option for it, which allows the device to be used as a standalone device without needing a phone paired to it. You can read messages and even send messages directly from the device itself using an on-screen keyboard. Just be aware that if you do select the Ripple firmware, you won't be able to pair the radio to your phone and can only use it as a standalone device. I will say that using MeshCore via a phone with the MeshCore app installed is much easier. So due to this, I do recommend that new users use the Community firmware, which will allow you to pair your radio to your phone and then use the MeshCore app. So that's what we'll go ahead and do with the Weo Tracker L1 Pro here and select the option under Community firmware. That'll bring us to the firmware selection page, and you'll notice we have multiple options here. In this video, we're going to focus on flashing the Companion firmware, and we can see there's two options here for that. We have Companion Bluetooth and Companion USB. In most cases, you're going to want to flash the Companion Bluetooth. This is one that allows you to pair your radio to your phone. The Companion USB option is for those who want to use their radio using a USB cable. So let's go ahead and select the Companion Bluetooth. Now that'll bring us to the flashing page, and if you remember from the previous video, I mentioned there's two types of microcontrollers in these devices, which is basically a little computer chip. And these will either be nRF52 or ESP32. The Wio Tracker L1 Pro has the nRF52 chip in it, so the flasher page looks like this. If you're flashing a device with an ESP32 chip in it like a Heltec, the page looks slightly different and looks like this. After we flash this L1 Pro, I'll flash a ESP32 device so you can see what that looks like. So the first thing we need to do with nRF52 based devices is put it into the DFU mode, which will allow us to flash it. To do that, just click on the Enter DFU mode button here, and that'll pop up a little window where we can select the device we want to flash. Now, depending on your computer and what you have connected to it, you may see multiple devices here like I have on mine. To figure out which device is the radio we want to flash, you can unplug the radio from your computer and plug it back in. Whichever device disappears and reappears is the one we want to select. In my case here, it's the tiny USB serial, so I'll select that and click on Connect. Your device should now be put into DFU mode, which will make it appear as a USB flash drive. And you may have the drive window pop up, and we can go ahead and close that. Now that the device is in DFU mode, we need to erase the Meshtastic firmware that was preloaded onto it. And this is done by clicking on the Erase Flash button. Now that window will pop up again where we select the device, so we'll need to select our device again. Now after it's entered in the DFU mode, you may notice that the device name on the list here is changed to NRF serial. That's normal, and we'll go ahead and select that one. After the process completes, the device will reboot and boot back into DFU mode automatically, which means you may see that drive window appear again. Just go ahead and close that out just like we did before. We're now ready to flash the MeshCore firmware to the radio and can click on Flash. The device selection window will appear again, and we just need to select the same NRF serial device. Now we just wait for the flashing process to complete. If you happen to get a message saying flashing failed, just click on Retry, then click on the flash button again, and it generally works the next time around. So once we have flashing complete on the screen, MeshCore is now flashed to your radio and it's ready to be paired to your phone. This process will be covered in the next video, where we will go over pairing your radio to your phone and the basics of the MeshCore app. Now let's quickly go over flashing an ESP32 based device like a Heltec so you can see what that process looks like. So we're here at the Companion Bluetooth flasher page for the Heltec V4. If this is a new device with Meshtastic or some other firmware loaded on it, we want to make sure we click the checkbox for Erase Device. Then go ahead and click on Flash. And it's the same deal here with the device selection box popping up, and if you have multiple options and are unsure which one, just unplug your radio from your computer and plug it back in to see which device is the one we want. Then go ahead and select it and click on Connect. Now the flashing screen will look a bit different compared to the nRF52 based device screen, and you'll see a console screen with info on it. Just let it do its thing, and eventually you'll see flashing complete. And that's it. MeshCore is now flashed to your radio and you're ready to pair it to your phone, which will be what we cover in the next video. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you all and have a good one, and hope to see you on the next video.